I'm your huckleberry. You're a daisy if you do.
So we're not exactly at the OK Corral, but we're here in the backdrop of the Old West to drive this, the all-new 2019 Ram 1500 Laramie Longhorn, which is the most Western-themed pickup truck in its class. But it's more than just the automotive equivalent of the Marlboro Man. It might just be the most luxurious truck on the road today. Now, it's been a while since the full-size pickup truck was just some rough and rugged farm implement, but this Ram really does take the concept of a luxury truck to a whole nother level. The use of premium materials and attention to detail really is staggering. It's something you don't normally see in pickup trucks, even the high-end ones. For example, instead of using the kind of unrealistic fake wood you might expect in a luxury model from a non-luxury brand, Ram used this really nice barn wood for the accents. And this logo is actually branded into the wood. And the more you look, the more detail you see, like this nice stitching on the dash and the knurling in the metal parts. It's all just really nice and the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a premium luxury sedan, if somebody made a premium luxury sedan that was ranch themed. But it's not all just old world luxury in here too. There's a lot of available tech, including this Tesla-like 12-inch screen. That's right, a foot-long touchscreen in the dash of a pickup truck. Welcome to the future.
Some of these giant touchscreens have become needlessly complex, but this system is actually really user-friendly thanks to the latest version of Uconnect. Menus are logically arranged, the buttons are really responsive, and the resolution is quite good too. And this particular version of Uconnect has been optimized for this phone book-sized screen. You can either have a single page for one application, or you can have two applications going at once. And since this is the latest version of Uconnect, it also runs Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
The 2019 Laramie Longhorn is also cram-packed with the latest safety tech. It's got adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, emergency braking. Pretty much anything you'd find in a high-end vehicle, this truck's got it. And it's got some nice convenience features, like an optional air ride suspension and a 360-degree cam for the 12-inch screen. But luxury is about more than just premium materials and the latest gizmos. It's about quiet and comfort, and this truck has both of those. When you shut the doors, you can barely hear the outside world in this thing. And these seats are really soft and supportive. I feel like I could hitch up a wagon and head west in this thing. Passengers aren't left out on luxury either. I've got 4G Wi-Fi connectivity and no fewer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 USB ports. And look at all the room I have back here. I could probably fit an actual Longhorn in this, especially when you flip up the seat. But just in case that Longhorn doesn't fit in the cab of the truck, Ram's made it easier to get him in the bed of the truck. Now, let's pretend this book bag is my bovine friend here, and I need to load him up in the back of the truck. I simply walk up, double-click this button on the tailgate, and it pops down. Then I can load him up. Simple as that. If I need to load something up at night, I'm covered there too. There's integrated lights in both sides of the box, and if you press one button, both go on. That's pretty smart. And of course, you can still get the fantastic Ram box storage system in this truck, just in case you have to transport any smaller barnyard animals. But it's not all good in Ram land. This truck isn't ugly, but it's just kind of nondescript. For the last 25 years, Ram's been using this extraordinary semi-truck look with really pronounced lower fenders and a raised hood. That's really been muted here. This is just kind of extraordinary. But there is some good news. On higher-end models like this Laramie Longhorn here, Ram has abandoned its short-lived pig nose grille, this oddity seen here, for this new slatted unit that looks much better.
Ram designers also did a nice job of integrating the truck's parking sensors into the plastic trim pieces on the front and rear bumpers, netting a cleaner overall look. And the rear camera is also nicely integrated into the tailgate handle. And of course, the good people at Ram don't want you to forget what kind of truck you're driving. It's on the front lights, it's on the rear lights, it's on the door, it's on the mirror, it's on the floor mats. Ram! Ram! There are some nice Ram details though, like this measuring chart on the inside lid of the center console. And if you look inside the center console, there's this lineup of old Ram trucks.
Now that we've covered the creature comforts of the new Ram, let's get down to some real truck stuff. Now, this is a 5.7-liter HEMI V8 motor, and this is what all Rams are going to ship with initially. It's rated at 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. Now, later on this year, Ram's going to introduce a new eTorque mild hybrid system. It'll come standard on the 3.6-liter V6, and it'll be optional on the 5.7 HEMI. In the case of the V6, it adds 90 extra pound-feet of torque, and in the V8, it's 130 pound-feet of torque. But that's not in addition to the motor's total output. It's just kind of a boost at low RPMs and also between shifts to make everything just a little bit smoother. In 2019, a diesel is going to be coming too, but they haven't really detailed anything on that. Now, all motors are going to be hooked to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you'll have choice of 2-wheel drive and 2 different 4-wheel drive systems. The other big improvement for this new Ram is one you can't see. Underneath this new sheet metal, there's a new frame that's made out of 98% high-strength steel. That means it's very strong while being very light. It's actually about 100 pounds lighter than the chassis in the old Ram. And Rams also use some aluminum for some other parts, like the hood and tailgate. And there's a lot more high-strength steel throughout. In all, this truck is about 225 pounds lighter than the model it replaces.
Now that we covered all that, I think it's time for a drive. All right, so here we go. Our first spin behind the wheel of the all-new 2019 Ram 1500. Now, I have switched from the Laramie Longhorn to just the regular Laramie, but it should be a pretty similar driving experience. It's the same engine, 5.7 V8. It's got the four-wheel drive, all that stuff, so it's pretty much the same. Now, my first impression of this truck is it's really quiet and comfortable. I can't hear anything from the outside world. The loudest thing in here is the whisper from the AC. It's just amazing. And these seats, they're soft, but they're still supportive. I could see just hooking up a trailer and going across country in this thing. You could just eat up the miles, especially it's got heated and cooled seats. So no matter what climate you're in, you're gonna be comfortable, and it's just a nice truck to be in. Another thing I noticed is the size. Now, the last Ram wasn't exactly a compact truck, but this one's a little bit taller and a little bit wider. This one's got these kind of extended mirrors on it that make it feel a little bit wider. You do feel that. It's not hard to control. It doesn't feel like a dually or a heavy-duty truck or anything like that, but it does feel a little bit bigger. The steering's pretty much what you expect. It's light. It's actually got a little bit of decent weight once you get into it. You get some feedback. I mean, not a whole lot, but it's perfectly capable. It doesn't feel like it's flopping all over the place. The 5.7's getting a little bit up there in age, but it's still a really good drivetrain, especially with this 8-speed. When you put your foot in it, the 8-speed drops down and that HEMI takes off. It even sounds good in this truck here. It's 225 pounds lighter, so it's probably faster. It doesn't feel from the seat of your pants any faster, but I'm sure it's a little bit faster. Another benefit of losing 225 pounds is that you can actually tow more and put more in the bed now. Both payload and towing capacity are up by about 20%. And to make sure you can slow down that bigger trailer, Rams fitted bigger brakes all around. In the front, they're bigger by about 1.5 inches, and out back, it's nearly 1 inch. So when you put on the clamps here, whoa, she really slows down in a hurry. It stops a lot faster than you'd expect from, this is probably about a 5,500 pound model, and it stops pretty quick for having that much weight. Now, even though I'm just in the Laramie, which is kind of just above mid-level, the Bighorn's kind of the volume for Ram, but even though this is a Laramie, everything is just so nice. It's soft touch on the doors and on the dash. It's not leather like in the Longhorn, but it's a really nice material, and it's double stitched here. The wood's fake, but it's pretty convincing. This has just got the regular Uconnect. It's not the 12-inch, so it's got more physical buttons than the Longhorn. But the knobs and buttons are really nice. They're kind of premium feeling. They got this rubber on the outside to turn. They've got an aluminum accent around them. There's no blank switches. I've got one blank switch for the air ride suspension, which the truck doesn't have. But other than that, there's no blanks. And it looks good and it feels good to use. I would say this is about on par with the new GMC Sierra Denali, which we looked at a couple weeks ago. This feels just as premium as that, and it's not Ram's premium entry into the segment. That just tells you how far ahead of the competition Ram really is in these interiors. There's also a lot of storage in this thing. This thing has about double the interior storage of any Ford or GM product. The center console is massive. I mean, you can fit a 15-inch laptop in it. There's room for a full-size tablet just in the top part of it. You can put files in it if you want. There's also storage in the floor. There's a Ram little storage box under the rear floor. It's just really well thought out. I just can't get over how comfortable this thing is. It is really, if you put someone in this and blindfolded them, they might say they were in a Mercedes or something like that. It's honestly that volt quiet and just comfortable. Now, the Ram's always been a comfortable truck because it's got the coil rear suspension where everybody else still uses leaf springs. But with the stiffer chassis, you really can feel that they tuned it now to be just more comfortable. You could easily use this every day. I mean, other than the size, the turning radius is pretty appalling. But as long as you didn't have to maneuver it in tight spaces all the time, you could drive this every day and be perfectly comfortable in it. You're not making any sacrifices to have, the ability to tow almost 13,000 pounds in this thing.
So there you have it, the 2019 Ram 1500. It's all new and all good. It's got a brand new frame that's lighter and stronger, so it's more capable and more efficient. It's got a bigger cab that's more spacious and better equipped. It's got an available 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system. And this truck makes a lot of advances on the safety front. It's got emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring. The list goes on. I think this is now the best truck in its segment. Now, the 5.7-liter V8 version of this truck is going to go on sale at the end of March. The eTorque versions are coming on later this year, but we don't have an exact date. We've been promised the first drive for that, so stay tuned. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.